Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of Nerd News, this time being hosted by me, of course, Timothy Martini. We're going to be talking about gaming, we're going to talk about music, we're going to talk about movies, of course, we're going to talk about comics. It's been a really good month for comics, well, one comic in particular that I'm really excited to talk about. But first, the new Prince of Persia came out. Not the one we were expecting, because we were originally expecting a remake of Sands of Time, and I don't know if you guys remembered this, but that got announced like 2019, 2020, and everyone's going, oh, okay, it'd be nice to get on next-gen consoles. Well, at the time they were next-gen. And then they released that trailer, and I don't know if it's still up. If it is, go and watch it, because it looked bad, like worse than the original game, to the point that Ubisoft themselves went, okay, we're gonna, go back to the drawing board on this, actually give you guys the Prince of Persia remake you want. But ever since then, they've been kind of silent on it. But then all of a sudden, they announced this new game, The Lost Crown. And I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was really nervous about this one. But a week before the game came out, they released a demo, and I started playing it, and it's a Metroidvania. And if you guys know from the Metroid Dread episode, I love me a good Metroidvania, and this one really does seem to be like one. It's been getting high reviews across the boards, 9s, 10s, 5 out of 5, however you rank them, it's been getting top scores. So while I'm not picking it up just yet, I am going to wait for a sale, because there are a bunch of other games coming out, including Suicide Squad. Yes, I know it looks terrible, but I made a deal with a friend, so now I have to play it. But, when it goes on sale, I will eventually get it, and who knows, maybe I'll force Bobby to play it. But Ubisoft aren't only in the news for that reason now. They're also in the news because they're going more in on subscription models for their games. In fact, they have actually stated that you should not be comfortable with owning your own games. Yeah. I don't know about you. I'm fine with subscription models for some things. I stream my music on Spotify, I use Disney Plus and Netflix to watch movies, and I even use PS Now to get some games, through their free monthlies. That's all fine, but I'm doing that with the knowledge of knowing this is a temporary thing. Because then I also buy my own physical movies. I buy some CDs I buy physically. I buy physical games. So to say this is now going to be the future of gaming is a really concerning thing. Because then basically, why am I spending money on something I don't own? Curious to know what you guys think. And the last piece of gaming news was Rockstar and Remedy. So I'm a fan of both developers. Alan Wake 2, Game of the Year. And as you guys may know, Rockstar published the first two Max Paynes, developed the third one, but Remedy developed the first two. And they're currently developing the remakes. So it got reported that there was a trademark dispute filed by Take-Two, the owners of Rockstar, to Remedy over the letter R. And everyone was having the same thought, which was, you really want to be doing this to the developers of your remake right now? But thankfully, this has been squashed. A representative from Remedy basically came out and said, this was a discussion that happened a year ago. It was part of the legal process they have to do just to say, hey, we're doing this. You might get a letter. Ignore it. And that's it. Sometimes it's as simple as that. We're getting the Max Payne 2 remakes, and that's all that matters. Now we're going to move over to music, and the biggest piece of news this week is that a new song come out by a emerging artist in the industry. Yeah, I released a new song, everyone. It's called Waves. It's my first original, and I'm really happy with it. Yep, we spoke about it in the Good Omens episode. There's a link in this description. Please check it out, because I'm just super proud of it, and I want, you all to hear it. But the other big piece of news that happened was regarding the band Sleep Token, who some of you may not know, others might not. So the big deal around these guys is they wear masks, and they are their identities are anonymous. We have no idea who they are. It's been a big part of the band since they emerged back in like 2016. But one dickhead of a fan decided, no, I want to know who these guys are. So he bought the bassist birth certificate and leaked that and his address. Yeah, let that sink in. That sounds really stupid when you say it, when you hear it out loud, right? So there's been a response from Sleep Token, which has basically been to delete all their posts on Instagram and change their bio to saying nothing lasts forever. Which, if this was any other situation, I would go, okay, this is a PR move to go, new era. But considering the legal side of this right now, who knows what's happening? Hopefully they get this issue squashed as soon as possible, and Sleep Token can continue to make music, because Take Me Back to Eden, album of the year. If you guys haven't heard it, I strongly suggest you check it out. But yeah, hopefully this gets resolved. Now we're going to move over to movies and TV, and we have two pieces of news here. One was that the Ted series drops on Peacock. I don't know about you guys, I love the first Ted movie. I think it's one of Seth MacFarlane's best pieces of work. Wasn't a big fan of Ted 2. I think Ted 2 is a bit, weaker, but, still some solid laughs in there. And then this announced they're doing a prequel series. And at first I was caught off guard about that, because I was like, well, does it need it? And it drops on the 10th of January, so I sat down and then watched it. Guys, check it out. It's honestly one of the funniest shows I've ever watched. I think now that Seth MacFarlane stopped writing for American Dad and Family Guy, he's been putting out his best work. I think Orville was amazing too, but this is absolutely hilarious. That if you're on social media, you've probably seen clips of it going around, and yes, the show keeps up that level of comedy throughout. It's only 7 episodes, and Seth has already said, well, if there's a nice fan response, he'll make a season 2. So come on, let's give him a good response, good feedback. I want more of Ted. And the second piece of news is regarding Godzilla -1, which we haven't spoken about because we don't get to speak about current media that much. But now that we have this, we can. Godzilla -1 is probably one of the best Godzilla movies out there. It's probably in my top 3, next to the original and Shin Godzilla, which again, another masterpiece. And there was a black and white cut that released in Japan. What they have announced recently was that for its final run in America, for the final week of the run in America, they are going to release a black and white cut alongside it. That's huge news because we didn't know if the West was going to get this. So my hope now is that we get it here in the UK. Because I saw the film in IMAX, I loved it, I was willing to go see it a second time, still haven't, because once they announced this, I was like, well, I'm going to hold out and wait, and, we're getting closer to this fact. I want it to come out, and I really want to watch it. So, Toho, if you're watching this, please, just give me it, I need it. And our final piece of news, this is more of a personal one for me, so this is a comic news now, and as you can tell from the camera, I don't know what I'm doing here, from the Venom statue in my background, I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. And I have been very hit and miss with the comics for a while, especially after One More Day with the brutal murder of Peter and MJ's relationship and how that has never recovered. The most recent Amazing Spider-Man run was awful for Peter's character, so I was losing hope. But then Jonathan Hickman came along and said he was doing 2 things. He was rebooting the Ultimate Universe, which I was... Okay, I'm not a big fan of the Ultimate Universe, but Ultimate Spider-Man was good. But, yeah. But then he said he was going to be writing Ultimate Spider-Man. And not just a new version of Ultimate Spider-Man, an Ultimate Spider-Man that has a wife and kids. And I was like, interesting. My boy is winning. So the comic dropped on January 10th, and I picked up the variant cover. And yeah, yeah, it's good. It's really good. In fact, Well, I think Jonathan Hickman can do no wrong. He saved a Fantastic Four from obscurity. So I had like no worries, but I didn't realize it would be this good already. I'm not going to go into all the big changes that happen in the comic because I feel like you should discover it for yourself. Apart from the fact, obviously, he's a married man. But I do think this it's interesting to see where this version of Peter, with all the different changes in his relationships, go. And I'm really excited for the future. And the cool thing about this is you don't need to read the larger universe stuff. You can if you want. In fact, I do recommend it because Hickman's writing has been really good regarding it. But it's really good at just letting you know, okay, this is the context of why everything's happening. But if you just want to read the Spider-Man stuff, you can just read the Spider-Man stuff. And that is it. This has been our second episode of Nerd News. Please let us know what you think of this series. We're happy to constantly talk about media in general. So, previous media and current media, why not? If you want to follow me on social media, as you can see down below, you can find me on Instagram and Threads at the Tim Martini. If you want to follow us, we're on CC Society Pod on literally everything. We're on Reddit. Just also remember to just hit subscribe and ring that ding-a-ling bell. I know that sounds bad, but I'm going to keep doing it. And if you want, send us an email regarding episodes, or if you just want to work for us on anything, we are ccsocietypod@gmail.com. I've been Tim Martini, and I'll see you next time.